Nick, got a couple days left. How worried should Cowboys fans be at this point?
Well, I don't think they should at all be concerned about the 2020 football season. I think that Dak Prescott, either franchise tag or long-term deal, is going to be your starting quarterback, and you have the roster in place right now, even with Dak taking up a $31 million cap hold with the franchise tag, to compete for a championship. But, Greg, I think they should be incredibly nervous about the long term. Because if they don't get a deal done with Dak, that means after this year, one of the following two things is happening. You're going to franchise tag him again, and that cap hit goes up to $35 million, and he's 1 year away at that point from hitting true free agency. Or, in order to re-sign him, if you don't get it done this season, you are going to have to pay through the nose for Dak Prescott, because he knows he's only 1 year away from true free agency. So if they don't get a deal done in the next 48 hours, Greg, I would be incredibly anxious about the long-term future for the Cowboys if I were a Cowboys fan, either because Dak's leaving or because we're going to have to pay him as if he's Patrick Mahomes to keep him, and neither one of those is a good option for them, Greg.
Yeah, everything that you mentioned is spot on. However, when we saw Dak Prescott sign this tender contract and give the tip of the hat, for me, that was a telltale sign. Regardless of where they are, they're going to try to come to some agreement. And I think Dak Prescott will be a Cowboy long term because, again, the Cowboys have been speaking highly of Dak, but Dak also has shown all signs of wanting to stay and be in that Cowboy franchise long term. When you start doing things like tipping the hat and putting on your Cowboy uniform and making sure fans and all Cowboy Nation understands that you want to be there, then at the quarterback position, you're starting to give up your leverage. And I think he's done that. He's showed his cards to the Cowboys. They know what he wants, and it's just a matter of them coming to terms. But you hit it right on the head. Nothing to concern themselves about right now this year because they got him. Next year in the future, maybe then.
So, Greg, do you think this gets done by Wednesday?
I don't think it gets done by Wednesday. I really don't. I was optimistic before. I am not any longer.
Okay. I still think it gets done, Nick. Like Greg said, there's been a lot of complimentary stuff from the Cowboys to Dak. And Dak's little tip of the hat on Instagram went from Dak to the Cowboys. And look, this report is out that they're not close. Well, that's obviously out because we're got a little media negotiation. The Cowboys see that, and then Dak's crew see it. I don't know who put that message out there, but to me, that's be like, hey, we got 2 days out. We're not close. Let's really buckle down here and get it done. I still think this gets done by Wednesday, Nick.
Well, here would be my concern is because I said a month ago that I didn't think it would possibly get done before July 14th, before the eve of the deadline, and we're at July 13th. Oh, which, by the way, I just realized what day it was. It's my son's birthday. Happy birthday to Monze. Should call him, but he's probably not up yet. All right, more importantly, I had totally forgot. But I was too worried about Dak Prescott and Rajon Rondo's broken thumb to think about my own son's birthday. What a terrible indictment on me. All right, but more importantly, what you saw in Kansas City, a team and a player on the exact same page, meaning the team knows the player deserves a record-setting contract. The player knows the team is always going to be putting the best championship team possible on the field. They trust each other so they can agree on a 12-year pact. What is concerning to me, Jenna, is that all the reports out of Dallas is that they've mostly agreed on the money, but Dak wants a shorter deal, a 4-year extension, and the Cowboys want a longer deal, a 5 or longer year extension. If that's what they're arguing about, it makes me concerned that no matter, the Instagram post and all the good quotes Dak's given and the team's given about him, that they're actually not aligned on the long-term vision for this team, and that Dak's bigger priority, more power to him for it, is to squeeze every last dollar out of this negotiation, Jenna.
I agree. Plus, we've been talking about this for 18 months, Nick. There was a time where you thought, well, of course it'll get done before the start of last season. It should get done before the start of this season. And here we are 2 days before the tag. Greg, I'm just curious, if not Dak, what's the backup plan for the Dallas Cowboys? Is Andy Dalton sort of the cheap backup plan here?
Well, yeah, right now you got to think they were thinking, if we don't sign Dak, Andy Dalton, he has proven that he can play in this league. At what level is to be seen with the Dallas Cowboys. However, they do have a quarterback who has experience playing in the league on their roster in Dak Prescott and Andy Dalton this year. So moving forward, even if they don't get anything done, I still think Dak Prescott will be a Cowboy long term. Nick, to your point, when it comes to Dak Prescott really wanting a shortened contract and the number that he wants, he's trying to get both things done in his favor. And when you're a player, it's either a team believes solely, completely in you, like you alluded to with Patrick Mahomes, like, yep, he deserves it, give him everything that he wants and more. Or they're like, yeah, you might deserve something, but you don't deserve it all, because we've put together a team and a personnel around you that has made you look very, very well. And so I think that's where the Cowboys have some leverage, and Dak is going to have to give when it comes to that extent of how long he wants to be under contract.
But I do think that Dak holds this hammer, Wilds, which is he showed he was willing to turn down an extension when he was making $2 million last year. If he shows he's willing to turn down an extension when he's scheduled to make $31 million on the franchise tag, then he gets to a point where he only has to roll that dice one more time, and then he becomes the most sought-after free agent in the history of the NFL, which is what a quarterback at his age, of his talent, would be if he hit true free agency. And so if I'm Dallas, I'm incredibly nervous that he had this level of security as far as not signing a deal back when he was making $2 million. If he were to do that after making $32 million, then next year he could accept the $35 million franchise tag and be one season removed from true free agency. That would be my big concern, Dallas, if I'm Dallas long term, Kevin.
See, I wouldn't be worried about that, Nick. There's still a lot of money in Dallas. Dallas doesn't have any taxes, and he knows that he's the big star when he's playing for the big star. You can get maybe a little bit more money in Indianapolis, but that's not the Dallas Cowboys, and that's where I think he can get the most money long-term over his career.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.